Hi, I thought I'd do a quick video showing them the modifications which I've made to my hobby engine loader. I'm quite pleased with it, and I thought it might be interesting for other people to see. I'll just turn it on and show you how the various functions work. So, got it all programmed up with my trusty DX10T, which is currently my favourite transmitter, certainly for all land things and boats at the moment. So you can see that the lights all come on. I've wired those directly into the receiver. I'll be opening up in a minute and showing you how it works inside. And what I've done, well, a number of things. Probably the best thing is I've actually taken off the mechanism for tipping, and I've replaced that with a servo, which I'm operating on a slider over here. Oh, bit of mud. The servo is quite a fast servo, so I've actually ended up on the transmitter slowing it down to about half speed. Inside I've got my trusty brooder driver, which seems to be finding its way into all the vehicles. These are actually quite good value, and if I just open one up, you can see how they come. What's particularly good is you can actually move all of the joints, and particularly when you want characters that sit down, they actually sit at 90 degrees, like so, without having to cut them about. And they're quite good at holding steering wheels. The heads are movable, and the details are not bad, and they seem to be roughly about the right scale. So I've actually put one of them inside the cab there. In terms of the other functions, for lifting up and down, that's on the right stick, like that. The steering, right stick also. And you'll see how it's quite proportional, so you can move it very slowly or quite fast. And the throttle backwards and forwards, again, you can move it quite slowly, and it's actually quite powerful. It doesn't get stuck like it did when I first got the model, but I think that has probably got quite a bit to do with the fact that I've changed the voltage to the batteries. What I've done, and I'll just start with this, if you can see in there, using the same battery compartment, I've put together a kind of custom battery holder which is a 4 and a 1 kind of soldered together, so that I can put 5 AAA cells in, which gives me the extra 1.2 volts, bring me up to 6 volts. Just put that back in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the, I think it's 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 7 screws which you need to take off to get the top off. I will just fast forward the video through this bit for you. Right, having undone all of those screws, it's fairly easy just to, there's one more that needs to be undone, a little bit by the look of it. Fairly easy to set top off. I'll just take out this servo wire for one moment so that I can put this to one side. Incidentally, while I've got the top off, I'll just show you how I got the driver into the cab. So you have 2 screws here and here which you need to undo, and then you just push this tab back, and the cab comes off fairly easily. And in order to get the the driver in, what I did was I cut two slots, two holes in the front here, chopped his feet off because you can't see them. He is held in by a combination of holding on to the control knob here, and I just put some double-sided foam tape on his back to keep him in place. Now onto the modifications in the truck itself. Just get that into the right kind of place. A bit of a mess of wires, and I'll just point out the things which I've done. So first of all, I've got a cheap Hobby King speed controller, which I've pulled the tabs out to give me instant forward and reverse. So that's the first thing. Obviously, all of the existing electronics, which is the 2.4 gigahertz board and the controller board, I've taken both of those things out. The lights, I've wired them all together. The lights all seem to be incandescent light bulbs rather than LEDs, and they seem to be fine at the sort of voltage which is coming out of the battery elimination circuit off the speed controller. So I guess that's around 5 volts, and so I wired the back lights and the front lights all in parallel at this voltage, and plugged them into one of the spare channels on the receiver. The wires for the back lights are red and black. The wires for the front lights, which come out of the massive tangle of wires coming out of this back bit here, are the thin white and red wires, and you just kind of put red to red and black to black and black to white, and that's that part done. For the next part of it, obviously the speed controller is wired straight into the motor for driving. Because we've now got 6 volts, that is enough for the wheels not to stall if you come up against something. 7.2 volts I guess might be better, but I've found that this voltage is perfectly fine. Maybe you could do with a bit more weight in the back so that the wheels don't slip. In terms of controlling the steering and the up and down arm, what I did was I took a couple of very old and broken Futaba, I think that they were probably 148 type servos, and unsoldered the motors, and then popped out the board. And here is the board. You've got to be quite careful when you're taking the guts out of the servo. You need to undo the screws at the top that you see when you take the case off to release the motor, and you actually have to push the top of the potentiometer down, because it's kind of held in with small plastic clips inside the servo that you can't get to, and then the whole unit pops out. I've bent these over so that they take up a little less room, and you unwire whatever you're trying to control to these 2 points here where the motor was soldered onto. So in this case here, I think it's for the this is for the arms going up and down. So the arms going up and down is the thick white wire and the thick purple wire coming from the front, and you just centre up the pot. And what I've done is I've put a bit of heat shrink over this so that it stays in place and can't get knocked easily, and then the other end just plugs into whichever receiver channel that you're trying to run it off. The same kind of trick has been done on the other side over here. If I can just get to it, try not to knock anything. Here we are, and this is the blue and green wires, and this is what controls the steering. I haven't yet wired in any end stops with micro switches or anything, but to be quite honest, given that you get the proportional effect, i.e. if you move the sticker a tiny bit, the motors actually move quite slowly. I haven't really found it to be a problem, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to bother. The other thing which I've done, which I'm going to have to lift the camera up, is I've modified the front end quite a bit, and so you'll see how I've chopped these arms off here, and the unit which was there for the up and down, I've just literally cut off the black tabs, and the servo which I put in, which is one of those quite short ones, I think it's a Bluebird one from Hobby King. They're very, very cheap, they're about £7 or £8, and I've put across here a couple of 3mm threads and put lock nuts on them. And for the arm for the servo, what I've done is I've used a second servo arm with a little bolt going through to give me a crank, and it all works out quite well. The servo is actually resting, if I just turn this over a little bit, directly on the bottom of the yellow bar going across, and that seems to be about the best height, because the servo will hit the front of the body, and if you have it any higher than that, sorry, that's the DX10. After 10 minutes it bleeps at you. That's reminding me I probably ought to bring this video to an end in a minute. And so that what you need to do is you need to mount it up flush against that so that you get the optimum movement. And that really is it. Really pleased with it. It digs quite well in the garden. I've had it lifting earth. I haven't found that it has any trouble lifting the weight, and I expect that you might have seen it in the other video, my first video of it running. I'm very, very pleased with it, and it's actually one of those things that works quite well. Well, hope you found this video interesting and useful. Be great to see any comments. Tick like if you like it. That might encourage me to do more of these videos. The next video, which I probably need to do, will be the one on the excavator. I'll just lift the camera up so you can see it. And this is where I put the Fogelli rams in, and it actually works quite well. Quite pleased with this. I might need to put a stronger ram on the top, but progress with that is good. The other model which I've modified, which I haven't yet done a video of, is the little forklift truck, and again I'm working off the DX10T. Works very, very effectively. Putting an extra servo in allows me to tip it back and front, and that's going to be the subject of another video too. Thank you for watching.